What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Got a guest on today. We're going to talk about federal prison, obviously. We're going to talk about what it's like and how certain things can follow you and really the politics of prison and sometimes the things that you have to do and how sometimes you get tired of certain things. And dudes that are listening in that have been to federal prison, I'm sure you're going to be able to understand a lot of this stuff that we talk about today. But anyway, brother, tell the people who you are, Nate, and talk a little bit about you.
So my name is Nathan Neal, and so I've done 2 stints in prison. Well, 3 stints. So I went to state prison in 2004. Uh, did a little 18-month, 19-month bid. I got out. 5 years later, I wound up going to the feds for 2 bank robberies. Uh, I got convicted, of course. Got 84 months. So was it 7 years? 7 years? Okay, so what happened is I wound up violating that after I got out. They put me on a supervised release. I violated that. I had to go back do another 15 months, but that killed my paperwork. But going back to what do you want to hear? The original story of how it happened, my crime, or
No, well,
just
this is the deal. How old were you when you go to federal prison?
so when I went to federal prison, I was 30.
3 years old. What's your first prison you go to?
First prison I went to was USP McCrary.
So you walk into USP McCurry at 30 years old. I know the politics are deep over there at that time because I know some of the players that were over there. You know, what was it like for you the first day that you walk in to USP McCrary as a
I'm gonna
white
tell you
prisoner?
about
We're going to get into white politics.
yeah. So I'm gonna tell you what the first day was like. So when we got off the bus, right? There's 40 of us. There might have been 39, I don't know, but it's whole 40. But anyway, we stand in line when they get you off the bus, they rush you in the intake and everything. And they put us in the cells and everything, and they taking the cuffs off, they taking everybody's pictures, doing, seeing SIS and all this. I see 2 Mexicans go at it. They get them out at the same time, they go in different places. They get the banging right there. So in my mind, I'm thinking, damn, this is serious. Like, this is already, we just got here. I've been here maybe an hour. They already banging it out, and we ain't even left intake yet. We ain't got dressed out. So I knew right then, I was like, man, it's going to be sort of serious. Like, all these dudes were talking all this stuff when I was in the counties and the federal holdovers, but I didn't believe what they were talking about, you know? And so they sent me to the yard, but they sent us to a unit, which is a medical unit, right, at McCrary. They put you all in this medical unit. So it's got people that on medical things, they in this unit, but you're in there for up to 7 days until they can find you a cell. But pretty much it's they politicking on the door as soon as you get there. Boom, they on that door. Hey, who are you? Who are you? You know, the blood, all the gangs, man. And so the dude they put me in a cell with, he from Tennessee, Tennessee Mike. Okay, he been down for a little while. He turned out to be a real scumbag. But anyway, heroin on that dope, and had no money. He couldn't give me no toothpaste, no brush. He couldn't give me shit, you know. But the natives that came with me, they looking out for me. They just hit the yard too, but they looking out for me. They gave me a few things that I needed because my own people could in that unit. So I wound up that night. He told me, he said, your homeboys got the yard. One of your homeboys got the yard. I'm from South Carolina. He's from North Carolina. Okay. I don't know if I can say his name. Can I?
His name, I don't care. Go ahead.
Yeah, his name was Murphy. So he's from North Carolina. He got the yard. And
Everybody knows Marv.
yeah, everybody know Murphy. So then they put me he tells me, well, tomorrow I gotta go. He said I gotta go down to the rec center tonight. He said, I'm gonna talk to your other homeboy. And he said, I'll tell him you're hearing shit. So he's from South Carolina, he's from Gaffney, Billy Running. He done been to the smooth, been down. He's on his second bid. He done did a 10, now he's on 5, something like that. Anyway, so he's like, he come back that night, he told me, he said to meet him on the yard tomorrow. Well, at McCrary, they got it separated. But we go to the yard at the same time, but they got me on the handball yard. They got him on the softball yard, right? So I don't even know what this dude looks like or nothing, right? And I'm all night long. I'm like, what's gonna happen tomorrow? Like, how's this gonna go down? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's happening? Because I done heard all these stories. But I forgot to tell you, if we backwind just a little bit, that morning before yard and all that, we're going to chow. I'm walking down through there, and there's a guy pushing one of the meal carts, okay, in front of the chow hall. And I see the Congo Blast dude that came with us on the bus, young cat. A TS dude come out from around that cart and just stabbed this dude. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know how many times here, I won't count. Dude falls on the ground. The dude that I was walking with that was trying to show me around and give me, you know what I'm saying? He said, just keep going, bro. Just keep going. So we just keep going. Going to child hall. We don't hear.
Stop you for a second. Let me stop you. What's it like though when you see something like that and he's like, "Yo, bro, just it ain't our business, homie. Just keep it moving." What's it like in your mind?
It's like God. It's like it's scary, bro. It's scary. I don't care what nobody says, bro. I don't care what nobody says. When you see another man get penetrated with a knife and you see him screaming and hollering and trying to get away and ain't nobody helping him, ain't nobody doing shit for this dude. Nothing. It's scary, bro. And here's the scariest part. We're going to chow hall. My homie says, hey, hurry up, eat your food. He said, hurry up, eat your food because they'll lock us in this motherfucker and we'll be here for hours. So we hurry up and eat our food. We got out of chow hall by the time they didn't lock us in there, but they did. They finally locked it down. They had the yard locked down maybe 40 minutes. You know what I mean? And open right back up. Picked that boy up, took him to the shoe. The TS dude, he went to the shoe. He was out 3 days later.
But pretty much back then, man, it was legal. As long as you didn't kill anyone, no one really cared. You go to the hole for a couple of days, get out, and it is what it is, right?
If you're good on the yard, if you're doing something for people that's good on the yard and you do put the work in, you coming back out, bro. That's already worked out. You know, it's already worked out.
Let me ask you this so you can, kind of tell the people when you say it's already worked out. Back then, it was like the administration wanted you to police your own, right?
Administration, yeah. So I want to tell you this. So I'm there 3 or 4 months. But anyway, so I want to go back to when I went to the yard to meet Billy. Okay, I go to the yard to meet Billy. There's 2 dudes. One of them's Tennessee named Chris. The other dude name was Billy. We go to the yard, and they on the softball field. I'm on the handball courts, right, and the basketball courts. So I'm in the middle. They see me. They come to the fence. He holler, hey, yo, come here. So I go over there. He's like, what's up, man? What's your name? I said, shit, Nathan. He said, where you from? I said, Carolina, man. I'm from Greenville. He said, I'm from Gatton. And the other dude said, this is Chris. He's from Tennessee. He said, what you just your first penitentiary? Like, you just come in the system? I'm like, yeah. He said, what you down for? And I told him, a couple bank robberies. He said, you ever did any state time? I said, yeah, I did some state time. He said, check it out. Here's the deal. And he asked me a few more questions because, when you asking somebody things, if they lying, if they ain't lying, you can tell automatically. You know what I'm saying? If they bullshit. So he's like, I'm going to get you moved to my cell tomorrow. I'm going to try to do it today. So I'm like, all right. So he gets me to a cell. He ain't said nothing about no paperwork yet. So we get over to the cell. First thing happens, bro. I walk in the unit with my net bag. He sees me. He's like, everybody's introducing themselves and shit. That was out watching TV. Because we had the TV, the white boy TV, and then we had a whole row of white cells on top and bottom right there in the corner. So if anything popped off, the white boys got up on top rock in the corner right there. That's when we went, when shit popped off, right? I go in the cell. Billy say, he said, listen, I make wine. He said, I shine. If they come in here and they get it, I'll take the charge. You know what I'm saying? He says, so don't be worried about that. And he's like, I'm gonna show you, the laundry room. The GDs had the laundry room locked down, so you had to pay to get you. You know how they go, right? It's like $1.50 to get the shit washed, unless you want to stand in there for 3 fucking hours trying to wash your clothes. Anyway, so Billy opens he opens the broom. He said, "I'm gonna show you what this banger is." He takes the broom handle off. Ta, 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 ta. The toilet paper falls out. The knife falls out. He's like, "Here one on." Okay. Then he goes over to the window, peels the goddamn rubber. There's another little banger. So we got two bangers in the cell. He said, "I just want you to know where they're at." You know. So I'm like, God damn. And I don't want to put nobody out there, bro. But it's real lit. I'm like, I might like, what am I walking into? Like,
You feel like your life just got real? Like, yo, this dude, yo, this is where the knives are at. This is what it is. Like, you come in,
no, this real.
you get hit, and now all of this.
This real, bro. I done seen people get in the fight in intake. I seen a motherfucker get stabbed on the way to chow hall. And now I'm in a cell with a dude I don't know that's got two knives put up, makes wine and shines. Okay. And I'm walking around the unit and I see all these guys with all these, fucking Nazi, fucking the hammers on their head, the fucking, the and shit, and birds, fucking, like shit. I don't know nothing about that at this point. I don't even know what them marks are. You get what I'm saying? And shit was wild. It was wide open. Motherfuckers smoking in the cell. They had the poker room going in the day room. Just really wild, bro. Like really, really wild. But at the same time, they were trying to explain to me, yo, don't walk through here. Walk around the TV. You know what I'm saying? You can't walk through here. You got to walk all the way around and go to us. You ain't watching their TVs. I don't want to see you sitting over there. You can't sit over there, bro. I'm an independent, bro. I ain't no gang member. I'm an independent. But independents had the yard there. You know what I'm saying? There was a few gang members there, but
They're telling
there
you
was
you can't sit in you can't sit in the black section. If there's a football game on the black TV, you can't go over there and sit down and watch it. You got to watch the white TV.
no, you can't. You can't. You can't. And you can see it from. You might can look at it from the white section, but you can't go over there and watch it. Hell no.
People don't
No.
understand that. So federal prison, USP McCrary, I mean, all these USPs, pretty much racially segregated, right?
Absolutely, 100% from the administration. Administration segregates. I mean, I can sell with a white dude, a Mexican, and I can sell with native. But I can't sell with no black. And I've also sold with an Islander before, because actually at McCrary, the Islander sat with us at our tables watching our TVs. Like, I think it was we called him Store Mike, little short dude. He was pretty cool, man. But yeah, some of the Islanders, there were like three of them. They sat with us, kicked it with us.
So what's life like for you, man, after them first couple days? I mean, you're at this prison. How long did you stay there?
Man, I was there almost a year.
Your dog, don't let
So
him bite me, man. Don't let that dog bite me while we're interviewing.
no, I got two pit bulls. They ain't gonna bite
I'm just messing with you, big
you.
dog.
I love them dogs.
Tell us what life is like at USP McCrary.
Life is routine. It's very routine. It's very monotonous. You wake up in the morning and you gotta be up 6 o'clock when the doors pop. You need to be up, dressed, boots on. You need to be moving around. That was sort of the rule there for the white guys.
You didn't get up and you were sleeping in. I mean, were there consequences if you wanted to sleep in?
Yeah, there was consequences. And usually it'd be like a verbal warning, but then it could turn into some physical type of reprimand where, if a motherfucker kept sleeping in, we would two people would go in the cell with them, beat them up in the cell while one person stand out the door and watch the door while it's happening. How it go.
You know how it goes, but the people watching don't. So what you're saying is, dude sleeps in, he gets caught. They're like, yo, bro, don't do that again. Next time they take you in the cell, they just beat you up, right?
Yeah, they just beat you up. Yeah.
Probably won't be sleeping in anymore after that.
Nah, you won't be sleeping in anymore, no. No. And South Carolina, we rode with Tennessee. So it was South Carolina and Tennessee had a table. We had a table in the chow hall together. Then the Missouri dudes were behind us. Then there was a gang member table. And there was another car there, but it was all independents mostly. There was a few gang members there though. Just a few. They were letting them back on the yard at this point. So
let me ask you this, Nate, right?
Yeah.
What was your life like, man, that would lead you to robbing banks? I mean, what was your childhood like growing up?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I've thought about this my whole life, right? And while I was in there, I took the challenge program, and the same thing as RDAP, right? So I take this program because I'm thinking it's gonna get me to a medium. But while I'm in there, you learn about the RSAs and all the stuff, the different types of stuff, right? But when you're in those classes and you're talking about all the things that happened to you as a child and these types of things, you learn that your outside circumstances affect your cognitions. You get what I'm saying? From growing up. So I think that, you know, seeing my daddy was a drunk, my mama was an enabler and a follower, you know what I'm saying? And a blamer, and she was in a lot of denial. And I can't blame her because her conditions affect her cognitions growing up. You get what I'm saying? It's just like, so I think that led into drug use, watching my dad drink heavily and me trying and just going to high school and peer pressure and fucking it's the 90s, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the 90s. People are doing drugs, testing drugs, just trying to hang out with the buddies at a bonfire and fucking going to clubs and doing all these types of things. And it turns in from an innocent thing to a very serious drug addiction. See, and you don't even see it coming. And so that's what happened. And I wound up getting on meth for a very long time. And that's and meth, pills and drinking and just a life of crime and hustling wound me up to the mental state of robbing two banks.
So
That's
you
I said,
end up in prison, right? You know, a lot of dudes do Suboxone in prison. People that were using drugs in the street. Do you end up using drugs at all in federal prison, or does the drug stuff stop when you get there?
so look, so when I got in McCray, I drank because by this point I started shining. Now I'm shining. I'm making $45 peanut butter jar. You know what I'm saying? I'm you know I'm trying to hustle, but my main thing was smoking. I was smoking the re-dip cigarettes, killing them, loved them. $2 a pop. I'm getting them. Um, but
That
my
stuff is
drug use,
absolutely. That stuff makes me cringe when I think about it, bro. Even when you just
well,
mentioned it, I'm like, damn. It's. I mean, that's what they're doing in federal prison. They're smoking, what people call chew ports, spinnerets. Did it ever cross your mind, like, damn, man, what the hell am I doing smoking this shit?
no, well, it crossed my mind when I was coughing. I was like, it must have been when these COs was sick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, seriously, like I would have colds and shit, but you're not even like I didn't know if I was gonna make it home, so I really didn't give a fuck. I'm just trying to calm my nerves right now. You get what I'm saying? So, uh,
I'm asking you.
yeah, I
I
didn't.
want people to hear the reason why people do this stuff. And I mean, you go to prison with 7 years, 3 months. What was it, 87 months? And you're thinking, man, you might never get out. What makes you
Yeah, it
think?
was that,
Because of the environment that you're in, obviously. But I want you to kind of give us some insight. I know, but I want you to give the
bro.
viewers the insight, brother.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you why. Because so I'm thinking everything's cool. I've been down there 3 months, right? And I'm thinking everything's gravy, man. Everything's good. I get to do my thing and fucking make my wine, shine it off, make my money, buy my fucking cigarettes, have my little canteen, and do my little routine. At this point, I really didn't have a routine. I was just fucking still feeling shit out. You know what I'm saying? And starting to see things in the unit and see things in these white dudes that I was fucking not agreeing with. You know what I mean? They talk this hard talk shit and this fucking politic and shit, but they're fucking just like contradictive on this shit, right? So by this point, I'm not agreeing with it. But anyway, one day I go to chow hall, wake up. I've been there, I don't know, 3 months. Wake up, go to the chow hall. I'm on my way back from the chow hall. I get to the unit. I'm about to do me a roll up, smoke me a roll up. And back then, Deuce wasn't heavy. It's heavy now though. But I'm gonna smoke me a roll up and shit. And Chris from Tennessee and Billy's in the unit and in my cell. And he's like, you gotta go, you gotta put work in today. And I said, what? He said, you need to put some work in today. You gotta hit somebody. And I'm like, Okay, who is it? And he told me it was Jimmy Cox. I don't know if you know Jimmy Cox. He been around the system. Big boy from Tennessee. And so I'm
I
like,
was with a bunch of them Tennessee dudes, man.
yeah. So I told him, I said, shit, who going with me? This big motherfucker, who going with me? God damn. You know. But in my mind, I'm thinking, so here's where it got interesting. He asked, he said, I need to verify it, make sure everything's good. You know what I'm saying? Before we do it. But this just came through a source, and now I need to verify it before we hit him. So I'm like, okay. I asked him what he did, and they was just telling me he's just in the administrate. This is what they told me. Administration wanted him gone because he's a fucking idiot and a troublemaker, and he'd been there before, and they didn't like him. And he'd been causing a bunch of turmoil within the Tennessee car, but all the Tennessee dudes is trying to go to mediums, so they got low points. Don't no no won't put no fucking work in. But I'm fresh there. I'm just a guinea pig, bro. So anyway, so I wound up uh we verified it and everything on the yard. I went and seen the shot caller for the yard. I went and seen Murphy on the fence. Murphy told me to wait till a visit started. He said, just wait till a visit starts before you hit this dude. So they wound up getting a couple dudes to go with me. But I was gonna go back to when we were having a conversation in the cell. When we was in the cell, bro, I asked Billy. Billy's my homeboy, right? That's what he told me. He said, I'm your homeboy. This is where the nines are. This is where everything is. If you need anything, I got you. Then I asked him, I said, so how should I do this? Well, I mean, what do you want me to do? He said, you handle it in any way you think you need to. So I took that as, what do you
Wow,
mean?
right? I mean, handle it any way you need. Is he sending someone with you?
Yeah, so they sent two dudes with me actually. They wanted so Brian went with us and Jeremy. Jeremy done put work in like 3 or 4 times. He likes it, you know. So I don't know. He had 15 years. He was from Missouri. He liked putting work in, but this dude's an independent, so it's got to be independent to do this. You know what I'm saying? So they sent Brian with me. Brian come off the bus with me. Brian Bloom. Uh, he was like white collar, cool dude. You know what I'm saying? Um, Three of us hit this dude, man. Three of us hit this dude. And but here, listen, I didn't want to. I like the dude. I kick it with this motherfucker, bro. He runs the card table. He I talk to him every day. I kick it with this dude every day. And now you want me to fucking hurt this dude. Now you want me to hurt this dude. I eat meals with this dude. We cooking spreads together. I'm on his gambling table. I'm kicking him. Anyway, I'm not no gang member. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck is this? Right? So I knew what it was. I knew either I go or goddamn, it's gonna be bad. So
If you don't go,
the
tell the
dude,
people what happened. I mean, I want you to keep talking, but if you don't go, you have to make a decision to hit someone that you kick it with. Probably one of the craziest things you have to do in life is like,
yeah,
I got to go hurt
like
this dude
bro,
that I'm friends with. So if you don't do it, they're going to kick your head in, right?
they gonna yeah, absolutely. They gonna run you up top. When I say run you up top, they gonna put the boots to you. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on their mood for the day, the person that's doing it and his mentality, and fucking, you know what I'm saying? It depends. He might stab you up. They might fucking put the boots to you. They might just fucking hit you body licks if they like you enough. Or it just depends on what's going on, bro. Like where they're at. So
They
anyway, you
like
don't
you
never
enough.
know.
Isn't that an oxymoron? If they like you enough, they won't stab you. They'll just beat you in the body and punch you in the face and kick you.
Exactly.
But that's if they like you. But go ahead, keep talking about what you were talking about.
So, bro, so dudes down there, man, and he's it's 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I go to the yard, and when they call yard call, I see Murphy on the fence. I holler at him and shit. He tells me, "Hey, go ahead and goddamn handle business. Wait till visit starts. That way they can't cancel visit." You know what I'm saying? So what we do was we go back in the unit. I go upstairs and I fucking and so we're waiting on Jeremy to get back from the kitchen because he works at the kitchen. So he's coming back and Brian's in his cell. They live on the other side. So we had two white cells on the other side too, but I lived on this side. So I could look up the window of my cell and I could see Jimmy. It's the institutional movie that started in the morning. Everybody is on the rock watching the institution. It's quiet as a mouse in this motherfucker. But everybody's on the rock. You know how it is, right? So I look down there. He's got his feet propped up. He's got his headphones on. He's sitting at the table. You couldn't even sit at our white tables unless you had put work in. You couldn't sit at the table in the unit. If I'm up, they was assigned pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So you had to pull your chair up. So I was always thinking, damn, I'd like to have one of them. I'd like to have one of them fucking seats. Feel like I'm important and shit. I want to fit in too, bro. But anyway, I look down and I see Jimmy sitting there. So I changed my clothes. I put on some sweatpants. I put on my boots. I put on a tank top. I go in the cell. I start doing jumping jacks. I'm
Damn.
getting my heart rate. No, you know what time it is, right? I'm doing jumping jacks, bro. Get my heart rate up. I'm trying to get my heart rate up and trying to get ready to do this thing. Because I know I don't want to go down as. So boom. So when I look through the window, I see Brian and Jeremy. They coming. They coming. So I'm like, hold the fuck. I'm doing like this. And they like, come on, come on, come on. So boom. I go out the cell. You got to act normal though. So I just walking now, but my heart's going. Boom, 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 boom. I go down the rock, then go down the stairs. I come from this side, they come from this way, and I hit him, boom, in the nose. He goes this way, and then everybody else jumps on him. We beat him until he goes under a table. So we still kicking on him and shit. By this point, the counselor come running out the back because the police ain't doing nothing. He knew what was happening. He ain't did nothing. He ain't had the deuces yet. The caseworker had to come out the back. We've been beating on this dude for like a minute, I think. The fucking caseworker comes running out the back. Get off of him, get off of him. Everybody disperses. But I'm still standing there looking at this dude. And he's under his table and he's under his table and he's just like fucked up, bro. There's blood and shit everywhere. So I heard my homeboy Billy, he say, Nate, come on, Nate. So boom. It snapped me out of whatever I was thinking about at that time. Like, what the fuck, man? This is crazy. So I go back to the cell. They pull Jimmy out of there. And then goddamn, they come back about, I don't know, it's been an hour after they did body checks. They come around, did body checks. Then they come back about an hour later and pick us all up, took us to the shoe. And I'm going to tell you what happened. We go to the shoe, right? They put me, Jeremy, and Brian in the same cage, a big cage. And Jimmy had already been down there, but his celly was at rec. So they asked him, do you want to go to the rec, y'all? With your celly? He's already at rec. He's like, yeah, fuck it. So I guess he went out there. And when he was coming back through, we was in the rec cage. And he looked over, he said, why the fuck y'all do that to me? And Jeremy said, you know why the fuck we did? Don't act stupid, bro. You know what the deal is. You know what's happening. And you know the only thing that boy said? He said, if I ever see you, Nate, I'm going to get your ass. Because we were friends, bro. Penitentiary friends. Get me? At that time, I didn't understand that at that time. Like, when I did state time, I knew people from my city. And we was really friends on the street. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like that in the feds, man. Ain't nobody your friend. Nobody's your friend, bro. Your homeboys is
Nate,
not your
let me tell you
homeboy.
something, Nate, right? In that environment, right? Sometimes you do things to people that you don't want to do things to because if you don't, it's going to happen to you. My right hand man, he got at me in Big Sandy because he had to. If it wasn't me, then they were going to get him too. But you know what?
Yeah.
I subscribe to if I mess with you, bro, because I know you said you don't have no friends. Ain't that? It's sad that you have to feel that way. But man, there were dudes where I'm like, yo, if they did that, like my boy Aaron Pike, guess what? I'm not going to get them. We're going to get them. And people's
Yeah.
mentality have started to change, but that's how it was back then, right?
That's how it was.
What did it feel like when he said that to you, man? Did it hurt your feelings? Like, damn, I did something, man, I really didn't want to do.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Because first of all, I got a conscience. I'm a human being. I have empathy and shit. You know, and there's some dudes in there don't have it. A lot of them dudes in there, they don't have that, bro. They don't give a fuck. And they up and willing to go at any point. They like it. That's what they live to do. That seriously. Like
They live to do.
just
They live to create violence and havoc. And
violence.
just, hey,
Havoc,
man,
bro.
whatever. Do you think sometimes them dudes that do that are, sometimes I think some of them cats in there are psychopaths. Other times I think they do it to cope with, their own pain and their own misery. And, sometimes they do it just to survive.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you a lot of the times they do it just to fucking get some kind of stature. Like follow. They're followers, bro. They want to look hard. They want to look tough. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Yes,
all
it is.
facade, really, man.
You think Murph made a bad call by doing that to Cox?
Nah, because Murph, listen, I think he made. I think that really Jimmy wasn't in the way like that. He was causing turmoil within his car. You know what I'm saying? Which was the Tennessee car. But because there were so few of us, South Carolina rode with Tennessee. We all ate together and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? But in my mind, I'm thinking that's your people. Even if you go into a medium, you in this politic and shit. Why in the fuck you got me going, bro? But it's because I was new to the yard, and everybody's got to put work in at some point. So I just did what I had to do. But I think Murphy made a couple bad calls. I've seen a lot of stuff Murphy do. Um, he was all right. He was all right, man. He's just
Wait,
being doing.
didn't they get Murphy? Didn't they get Murphy somewhere?
Yeah, they got him in Big Sandy. They got him before he got to he mugged a lady with a purse. He drug her down the street, right? So when he fucking went to Big Sandy, they beat him off the yard cut for that shit. So they sent him to McCreary. And when he got to McCreary, that's when, all the gang members was at. Well, they got tired of the gang member shit, and all the independents came together and went and smashed all the gang members off the yard. That's what happened with that. So, and listen, I'm gonna tell you something. When I was in a couple shoes at these other prisons, and I'd hear them boys talking through the vent because Casey came to Beaumont. When I got transferred to Beaumont, Casey came to Beaumont, and I heard them boys talking about it. And they would say, he on the list. He on the list. That's Casey. He on the list. They got to listen to them boys. There was at McCreary that was involved in that shit. And
No,
that shit don't go away.
that was the list to get the independent dudes. They show up, boy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
It's
showtime
all
because
it's all with, bro. It's all with for them. And so it's serious. It's serious business.
So let me ask
Um,
you this, Nate. Were you thinking when he said that to you, were you thinking in your mind, like, damn, I hope I don't run into this cat somewhere. I better stick around here.
I told myself, it is what it is, but he's a big old boy, man, and I fuck with him, and I hated it, like to fucking put my hands on that dude because I like that dude. And you know what? When we went to fucking DHO, the DHO was like, he was like, yeah, if y'all wear boots again, I'm giving y'all street charges. He was telling us that. So they had just started that. They were gonna start giving street charges for wearing boots, kicking on people and shit. And I was
Actually,
gonna tell you this. I went to the shoot. I mean, when they came pick us up, right? They take us to the lieutenant's office. They put in a holding cell. They got a holding cell right there at the lieutenant's office. They all built the same. So they got a holding cell. They take our shoes and shit. They got all three of us in there. They pull us one out at a time. They take me over to the lieutenant's office. And the lieutenant sitting there. Then there's two COs in there. He turned the fucking paperwork around the roster. And it's got all the inmates' pictures on there. It's got all their fucking numbers and what unit they housed in and all that, right? He said, all I want to know is, did you get the right one? And I'm like, uh, I guess. I guess we got the right one. So he put me back in the cell. But before I went, Murphy told me on the fence, he said, you won't be in there more than 4 or 5 days, bro. I'll have you out. 3 days I was out, bro. All of us back in the unit.
you beat. I mean, you pretty much beat the brakes off this dude, and you go
His
to
nose is
for
broke.
3 days.
Yeah, his nose was broke, bro. His nose was sitting to the side. He was just a tough dude, bro. He's from Tennessee, country boy. Nose broke to the side, towel, blood all over it when he came in from the rec yard. Like he went out there like that. You know what I'm saying?
Couldn't fight
Um,
back. Didn't fight back though.
he couldn't. He couldn't, bro. He fought back. I'm gonna tell you something. All three of us getting on this motherfucker, and he was still trying to get up, bro. And I just kept saying in my mind, Jimmy, just go down. Just stay the fuck down, bro. Why you keep trying to get up, bro? With
Because in
it
that
was
moment,
crazy.
man, I mean, people are dying in there. Maybe he's thinking, man, if I don't get up, man, I might end up dead. I got to keep fighting. I got to try to get up.
So he wound up going under the table, bro. He got under the table, and that was the best thing. That was the best thing for him, and I'm happy. Like, man, I didn't want it to happen like that, but I had no choice, bro.
You have regrets, man. I can see that you do.
Bro, bro, I got a lot of regrets in that motherfucker, man. Just how I got a regret of even going. Drug addiction. Drug addiction is serious, bro. I've seen some of your videos. It's a zombie apocalypse out here. I don't do any drugs anymore. But it's got real bad out here, bro. Like it's a different world now.
Into that in a minute. Let me ask you this. You've been out. How long you been out?
Well, I went back, so I got out. This time I got out in 21? Yeah, 20. No, I've been out about 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that. I went back and did 15 months on a violation of Bennettsville,
Things
South
that you've
Carolina.
seen in a maximum security prison, right?
Yeah,
Hey, do you think those are kind of like a deterrent? Like, man, I don't never want to go back there and be in a position where, I'm going to run into Cox or I'm going to have someone say, yo, you got to put in work. I mean, do you ever feel like, those things that you experienced, the things that you've seen, the things that you've done, are a motivating factor to not make irrational, irresponsible choices that lead you back to prison?
yeah, that shit. Some of the things I think that the main thing is I have anxiety attacks real bad. So and I was having them in prison, and they got worse in prison. They got so debilitating in prison. Just going to chow and shit, being around a whole bunch of motherfuckers. I mean, I was really fucked up there for a while, man, inside prison. And I would go to psychology and tell them, man, yo, man, I need something. They give me, Fuse Bar, Vistaril, fucking this and that. None of that shit work, bro. They can't sit there and talk to you about what's going on because they know what's going on. And there is no cure for it. You just got to experience and ride the wave. You get what I'm saying?
Ride the wave and hope you don't die, kind of, right?
Yeah, I hope you don't die, man. I was telling my wife, man. I was telling my wife, I used to write my mama letters. I write my mama a letter and tell her, listen, I love you. And I love all y'all. And if I was something bad was to happen to me in here, like just know that I love y'all. Make sure everybody, my kids know I love them. And I mean, serious letters, bro. Like real letters. I might not come home, mama. It's like this.
You ever have anything happen to you?
Nah, I mean, I got in fight. I got in fights, with Cellies. Uh, I never got stabbed. I never got stabbed. Luckily, I never really. Chad, I learned how to move. You get it? I learned how to stay out of the way real quick. I learned
You have to
after that
adapt to
incident.
your environment, right? Okay, so Nate, man, I know that, we talked a little bit before we got on the interview, but I want to ask you about McCrary and how you feel and why you end up leaving there because this is something that happens in federal prison. And, sometimes people talk shit about you, but you know what? Or people that, are in that position. But sometimes, man, people make decisions that they feel are best for them. So
All right.
let's talk a little bit why you leave McCrary, man. What
So
happened?
I look, so I've been there a little while, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the prison, the police. I didn't like the dudes on the yard. Uh, the politics. I ain't like none of it, bro. I ain't agree with half the shit that was going on. And half the shit that was going on was being ran by junkies, like just pure junkies. And I seen a lot of contradictory shit as far as like doing shit that they say you can't do with another race, but they doing it anyway. And you know how it go. So I got tired of it, and I was like, man, there's got to be something better than this. There's something out there better than this, bro. But at that point, I didn't know. I didn't know what it was going to turn into. So one day, I went to what's called to lieutenant office. I said, I ain't going back to yard. Y'all gonna put me in the shoe. He said, I can't. I said, yeah. Well, I'm refusing to go to the yard. I'm not going to the yard. So they put me in the shoe. He says, and the SIS talking to me. They like, what's going on? I tell him, look, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. And he's like, well, you can't leave this yard. And if there's no threat against you and this and that, and I'm like, well, do a threat assessment. Do whatever the fuck you got to do because I'm not going back out to the yard. And they kept telling me, man, you don't want to do this because this gonna follow you to any prison. But I didn't understand that. I was like, what are you talking? What's gonna follow me? I'm cool. Like I just don't want to be here. So they wound up doing a threat assessment. They come back and say the threat assessment's good, right? That I'm good. That all my homies, they're sending kites. So like, what are you doing? Like, I'm like, I ain't answering. I ain't got nothing to say. I fuck all you motherfuckers. I don't like none of you motherfuckers. So I wound up sitting there for like, I don't know, 3 months. And I thought I was gonna sit there longer, but the Emmys and I think it was the Emmys and Texas Syndicate get into it on the yard. They need sales, so they come and got fucking 40 of us out of the fucking thing, and they shipped me. They put me in Butner too in the shoe. So there's dudes from Big Sandy, Beaumont. I mean not Beaumont, but McCreary and all these places, Canaan and shit. So we just waiting to get designated. They designate me. They send me to Beaumont. I get to Beaumont. I'm in the shoe. They keep me in the shoe for, I don't know, like 3 days waiting on my paperwork to get there. So I'm like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this yard will be better. Like literally, I'm thinking that. And go to the yard, go to the unit. Then boys start asking me questions and shit. And I'm telling them, yo, and because I'm like, yo, I was at fucking McCray, man, and fucking didn't like it. Fucking just fucking went up top. Goddamn, thought I was gonna come to a better prison.
Let me stop you. You tell the dudes, you're straight up with the dudes in Beaumont. You're like, yo, I went up top. And what's their response when you say, dude, I went up top?
They're like, man. The one dude was like, just don't tell nobody, man. Just don't fucking say nothing. I'm like, I'm not like that, bro. I'm not like, I put in work. I'm good, dude. Check my paperwork. I got, like I'm good. And fucking Bulldog. So they all get me in a cell. So I go in there. Like, it's whatever, bro. I'll fight, whatever. If y'all want to do a little disciplinary or whatever, because at this point, I understand now. What's going on. Like, this is serious to them. To them, this is a serious thing. To me, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I just didn't want to be there, bro. I put work in. I fucking did everything I was supposed to do. I mean, I just didn't like the junkies. I didn't like the politics there. But it's the same here. It's worse here. So I wound up fucking getting beat up. Bulldog and another dude, they beat me up. They hit the deuce or whatever. They take me back up top. So that's what happened with that.
Because you check in or you go up top, these dudes are like, yo, you violated prison politics, violated the white prison convict code, and we're going to beat you up. Are you fighting back when they're hitting you?
Yeah. I'm trying to get the motherfuckers off of me. I won't die in that cell.
Are you worried they might try to kill you in there?
They didn't know, because a lot of them dudes, they felt me. They felt they were like, you know what I'm saying? A couple of, like, they were trying to have a meeting on like what to do with me. Like, they were just like, but ultimately it came down to the politics. They didn't have nothing against me, bro. Because I told them, I said, email them boys, ask them. You can email to anybody. And anyway, they wound up beating me up anyway. Bulldog, it was Bulldog, bro. And I'm gonna tell you what happened to Bulldog. Probably about a year later, he got beat up because he's a fucking sex offender. Go figure, huh?
Ain't that something? They send
Ain't that something? Such a good guy.
Get you, and then it comes full circle, right?
They stabbed him though. They beat him up and stabbed him, but he was a piece of shit.
Let me stop you for a minute, Nate, because this is a dog eat dog world, right?
Yeah.
And you had jumped on Cox, and eventually it comes back around to you, even though you didn't want to. It comes back to you, and now you're the guy that becomes the victim.
And I was the motherfucking, I was the prey then, dog. And so they put me in a shoe, and because I had just got there, you gotta like, it's weird. So I get into it, Lieutenant Russo. He's in a bunch of like the black crime novels. He's an infamous, bro. Dude's infamous. So I get back in the shoe. Sweeney's there from DMI. He's back there. Wilbur, DW Wilbur's there. He finally gets there. He's back. But anyway, I seen a whole bunch of dudes, and they wound up just fucking keeping me there they kept me in that fucking shoe for 20 months, bro.
Talk about that. Let's talk a little bit about that. And I mean, how bad they beat you up? Did they beat you up bad?
No, it wasn't too bad. It was, I was fucked up. Took about 3 weeks for my eyes to heal, and they didn't break my nose. Had a bunch of contusions and shit, like on my back and on my chest, where they were kicking on me. Nothing bad.
Well, both
they could have did worse. Yeah.
All right, so listen, you spent 20 months in the hole back there, right? What's it like, man, mentally and emotionally, to be stuck in a cell, 24 hours a day, pretty much. Yeah, you get, an hour rec here and there 5 days a week if they feel like letting you out, or if you didn't have a lineup, or if you didn't have anything covering your window. But what does it do to you mentally and emotionally to be stuck in a room the size of your bathroom for 20 months?
It broke me, bro. It broke me. And I ain't, and I'm not ashamed to say I fucking cried, bro. A couple times I cried, bro. Like thinking I'm losing my mind type shit. Because they got the windows covered now. You can't even see out the fucking window. You see light, that's it. You know? So you literally see nothing. The shower's in the cell. You never leave the cell. You know what I'm saying? And and mentally, like I would go through the same type of mental process every day. I would think about the same things. I would walk back and forth from wall to wall for 8 hours a day. I would do 500 burpees. I got down to like 152 pounds. I'm like 210 right now. I was 152 pounds, but that was the only thing that kept me going, bro. It was the only thing that kept me going was that exercise. And I'm gonna tell you what, I beat my body to death. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what got the stress off, the worry. And when I woke up the next day and knew I had to face however much longer I had to face, you're talking about 2 Christmases. You get what I'm saying? 2 fucking, like, it was
Been down
crazy,
there, bro. I've been down there for 14 and a half months.
Oh,
And
God, bro.
that's the same thing with me. It got your routine. Got up in the morning, got the tray, didn't eat it, put it off to the side, worked out, got done, ate the tray. I had a heavy bag in there that I made out of a mattress. I hung it on the
Yeah.
shower. I mean, and then in the afternoon I would read books. Then at night I would do burpees again before the dinner tray came. And then I would eat. Then I'd take another shower. And then I'd lay down, read a book, and you know what? My day was over. And that's what I tell people. Sometimes in prison, we got the same experience every day for years. In this,
The same.
you got a different experience every day. We got the same one every single day.
And sometimes, most of the time they had tickets. They run little parlay tickets, So I'm gambling, listen to my radio. At nighttime, I like to listen to Ground Zero. That's my thing. I like Ground Zero, Art Bell. I was into that. Had a little, just doing the same thing you was doing, reading books. They have nothing on the book card, bro. There's nothing on there.
Let me tell you this. Even when I was in the hole in Pollock, I was down there for a little while, and there were certain radio shows I started to listen to. I listened to that Art LeBeau from California down there. I'd listen to
Yeah.
that on Saturday. What'd she say? She said it's Dixie on a Saturday night in Louisiana. I'm like,
Alex Smith was West Coast too.
some people try to say I look like that cat. Is that the cat they say I look
Yeah,
like?
you sort of do, bro.
Man, don't say
Swear
that,
to
bro.
God, bro.
You're going up top. You're going up.
You sort of do, but he's very knowledgeable. They tried to sue him for billions of dollars, but from the I think it was a Sandy Hook school shooting, they got him. They took him to court. Yeah, but
So anyway, you're down there for for that 20 months, and it's a struggle mentally, emotionally. I'm glad that you're able to admit that and tell the people what it's like.
Hey, Chad, I don't care. I don't give a fuck who knows. I lived there, homie. And I'm gonna tell you what, I fought back there too. They kept trying me. They kept trying to put people in my cell. They put a child molester in my cell, and I wound up smashing this dude 2 times because I smashed him. And I told him, I said, just get on the door, bro. Just get on the door. And he got on the door, and they wouldn't get him out of there. So I smashed him again. And they finally come to the fucking door, right? And I'm smashing this dude. And just because he's a child molester. So they finally come to the door, and I'm tired of beating on this guy, bro. I don't want to beat on this guy. I just want him out of my cell. And they're playing games, bro. They're just looking through the window, waiting for, the lieutenant to come. And they just don't open the door and come in and save you. That's not how it goes, bro. And one of you's got to cuff up. And I told him, I said, go ahead, bro. Cuff up. I'm not cuffing up first. You know what I'm saying?
Tell the people, they'll put a guy in your cell like that and not care about you or whether or not you kill him and get a life sentence. They put him in there and let you just do whatever you want to him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty
But on
much.
purpose,
Yeah.
right?
And I was still to pray myself. And I had to handle my business because of just my own morals. You get what I'm saying? So now it's crazy. It's so, and I didn't want to do that, but it is what it is. That's how I felt about it at that time. And so, yeah.
Listen, man, you spent years of your life in there. You've been around some dangerous dudes.
Yeah.
You lived the prison life. You lived the politics. You were, you victimized people. You became the victim, but you
Yeah.
also became a victim from the Bureau of Prisons, where they lock you in a cell for 20 months and won't transfer you. And back then they were doing that. They would,
Wouldn't transfer me, bro. I kept every week when they come by. A lot of times you can't even get them fucking stop. They walk right by the window and you screaming for them. It's so loud in there. Everybody's talking, trying to get somebody to talk to them. Caseworkers, lieutenant, warden, assistant warden, usually not the warden, is assistant. And they're dicks. They don't care, bro. They just don't give a fuck. So finally they transferred me, man. I wound up going to Atwater, California. Got out there, got to the same beef, got to another beef, wound up sitting 3 months in the shoe there, and they sent me to Coleman 2. I got to Coleman 2, and it was just as wild, but it was more ran like a state prison. It was more ran like a state prison, just wild. By this time,
listen, I talked about this the other day on a video where, they'll put you in the hole and just keep, send you to a prison. You get beat up there. They send you to another prison. They know you're going to get beat up there. You got the same problem. And then, they send you to another prison. And then eventually if you're still alive by then, you might make it to a place that you can walk the yard, like Coleman 2. But make no mistake about it, Coleman 2 was also jumping too, wasn't it?
Oh, it was jumping, bro. It was jumping. I don't care what nobody says. Because guess what, bro? I seen a killing there. I seen a dude get killed there. And I seen I don't know how many stabbings there. I seen it all the time. There was always stabbings going on there. And a lot of these guys, like these ex-gang members and these dudes that get to the yard, a couple of them turn punks and they're still trying. Then the other ones are still trying to act like they're still gang members. They're still trying to run it like they're in the gang and shit. You know what I'm saying? So by this point, you know what I did? I done spent years back there in the shoe, done put work in, done dealt with all these dudes. I said, fuck this. I'm going to try to do the challenge program and go to a medium, right? Try to get out of this shit, man. All this Suboxone and all these dudes, they're all using Suboxone and they're all using the same fucking binky. 50 people using the same binky, bro. You get what I'm saying? Trading it off and shit, different races, whatever. They didn't give a fuck, bro. And so pretty much I could say 65% of the yard at Coleman 2 is on Suboxone, strung out, the whole fucking yard.
Anyway, listen, bro, before we get ready to go, I appreciate you coming on and like I said, you live that life. Is there anything you want to say specifically before we go?
Yeah, man. I'm going to say this. I respect everybody, but what I don't respect is following a leader that's leading you in the wrong way. And at some point, you got to have balls enough to do what you got to do to fucking get out of that. And that's what I was trying to do. But I wound up in a worse situation, but I fought my way through it. You know what I'm saying? I fought the fucking adversity. I did everything I had to do, man, to get out of there. I jumped on a child molester, but he deserved what he got in my eyes morally. But other than that, I was trying to stay out of the way, bro. You know what I mean? That was my whole mission. And it wound up, I went through a lot of hard times, and I feel like that it's a part of administration's fault because, they don't care. They're letting people die in there for medical reasons and getting stabbed to death. Just like Whitey Bulger. I was on the yard with Whitey Bulger for fucking 15 months at Coleman 2. And they send him to a place they know he's going to die. And he died the very night he got there at Hazleton. Wasn't it Hazleton he died at?
Yeah,
they beat him to death the very night he got there, bro. He's 80 years fucking old, man. And they beat this guy to death. And I was on the yard with this guy for 15 months, man. I used to talk to him, kick it with him. He told me a lot of shit, man. But anyway, that I don't want to go back. I'm glad I went back to get my time, just get the supervised release off of me. But I advise anybody to stay the fuck out of federal prison, bro. If you know what's best for you. If you know what's best for you.
Ask you this, right? Because before we go, I do want to ask you this. Do you feel like today, do you still have struggles from being in prison, from the things that you've seen, the things that you experienced, being in the hole in a cell the size of your bathroom for 20 months? Does it still affect you mentally?
Yeah, I still go through that same mental process every day. It's eased off a little bit, but I still go through that same fucking mental process, bro. And I still think about that was fucking almost for what eight and some change in my life, right? All together. Those are memories that always affect me. I dream about that shit, man. Some of that shit I seen and experienced. I take anxiety meds now. I take anxiety meds, man. I have to do fucking meditation and breathing, like meditation with breathing. I try to fucking be proactive with my anxiety, bro. But I can't, like, going to Walmart, fucking being around a bunch of people. If I hear shoes screeching or fucking a loud noise, or like just crazy stuff, bro. Like it's I treat it like I treat my house like I would myself sometimes. Like, it's crazy, bro. I want locks on everything. I want, you know what I mean? I want people to be able to see in my shit. But I have to work a job. And listen, here's my hardest thing: getting along with people, bro. I cut straight to the. I'm in Minnesota now, right? I'm from South Carolina, but I'm up here now. I see a bullshitter from a mile away, bro. Soon I talk to you, I know if you full of shit or not. I can tell automatically. And then I ain't gonna play that game with you. I'm just gonna, you know what I'm saying? And then, if I'm just gonna tell you, I just you ain't shit. Keep pushing, kick rocks, bro. I don't wanna fuck with you.
And as a way of doing that to you, man, I like to make sure everything's locked. I drive around a couple times around the block sometimes to make sure I'm good before I pull in the driveway. I still do things, and I treat my house sometimes like my cell. My little office space down here is my cell.
It's your cell, bro.
It's sad, but that's what it is. But anyway, listen, Nate, man, I appreciate you coming on, and I know it takes courage to come on here and say, "Look, bro, I did this," but you made it clear you didn't tell anyone at the jail. Your stuff's all good on Pacer, but you felt like that's what you had to do because you were in a position where you just didn't want to be there. And dudes do that in prison. There's dudes that will check in and be like, "Yo, man," and tell their homeboy, "Yo, on the low, bro, if they call you, just be like, yeah, man, he can't come out here." That shit happens, bro. Be like, "Yo, I'm trying to get close to home," or, "Yo, I ain't seen my kids in 5 years." And people do things, that they do.
I didn't tell none of them. And none of them, they kept telling him, "I'm good, I'm good, I'm good." He tell him to come on. And I wouldn't go back. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want to be there. And I wound up doing a lot of time in the shoe, a lot of hard time, being put in situations like I told you where I had to jump on a child molester. I fought a few cellies, off hands, and still be in a cell with them for a month or two, like go to sleep type shit. But I wanted to say this. Look, what's my TikTok, baby? I got a TikTok too, man. I got a TikTok. I think it's at Nathan Neal 6894. So, I like to, and my YouTube's Nathan Neal 50. So just I'd like to have a following, just have people I could connect with that's been through some of the same shit I've been through. You know what I'm saying?
Connect your stuff, bro. Send that to me on a text and I'll connect everything. People want to check you out. Check my boy Nate out, man. He's been through it, you can tell, but he's a real dude. He kept it real. I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to tell people, man, if they like what we're doing, Nate, hit that like button. Hit that like button. With respect, until tomorrow, we're out.